Greetings to our class 3 students. Today we will start our GSC class with the chapter named Living and Non-Living Things. Let's start with the introduction. What are living and non-living things mean? Now, if we look around, our surroundings we are surrounded by so many beautiful things. Nature has given us things like sun, moon, the stars, planets, plants and animals. So these are the natural things given by our nature. Next, there are other things like buildings, roads, cars, trains, aeroplanes have been made by humans. So they are man-made things. So plants, animals, humans are all living things, whereas the sun, moon, stars, buildings, cars, etc. are non-living things. Here we can see a beautiful picture of a tiger which is a living, and another picture of books, and they are non-living. So let's start in details about the living and non-living. First we will start with the living things. Living things means they can move, they can grow, they can breathe, they can feel, they need food to grow, and they can reproduce. Most of the living things can move from one place to another of their own. They move in search of food and water. Next, living things move to look for shelter, and they move to protect themselves from their enemies. For example, a deer runs to protect itself from a tiger. Animals like leopards and buffaloes move with the help of their legs, whereas birds and insects fly with the help of their wings. Fish swim with the help of their fins and tails. Snakes crawl from one place to another. Now, a very good example, the three-toed sloth is the slowest moving animal in the world, and it is found in South and Central America. So, this is one of the important characteristics of a living things. Next important thing, that living things can grow. When living things grow, their shape and size changes. Suppose when a newborn baby grows, and after some years you will become an adult like your parents. So living things born, they grow, they die, and this is called their lifespan. Non-living things never do this. Next, there are some, it can be said that plants do not move from one place to another, because they most of them can make their own food. But different parts of plant can show movement. For example, the leaves of touch me not plant, whose scientific name is mimosa, close and droop when touched, and they reopen in a few minutes when the hand is withdrawn. So, this is quite strange. Next is living things can breathe. We cannot keep our nose and mouth closed beyond a minute. We start feeling uneasy. This is because our body continuously needs to take in fresh air and give out used air. And this process by which our body takes in and gives out air is called breathing. All living things breathe in air to stay alive. Human beings and most animals breathe through their nose and lungs. But insects such as grasshopper have air holes along the sides of their body for breathing. Fish breathe through gills. Plants breathe through tiny pores in the leaves called stomata. A frog can breathe both on land and in water. It breathes with the help of lungs on land. It uses its skin to breathe in water. Next, living things need food. We feel hungry if we skip a meal. So, this is the way our body tells us that it needs food. Living things need food to live and grow. We obtain our food from plants and animals. Animals eat plants or other animals. Green plants make their own food using air, water and sunlight. Now, the next column is living things can feel. When we get hurt, we feel pain. We can also smell food being cooked in the kitchen. Eyes, ears, nose, tongue and skin are sense organs. They enable living things to feel the changes around them. A cat can smell a mouse. Insects always fly towards light. We taste with our tongue. We can feel the change in the temperature when the weather changes. Plants do not have sense organ, but they can also feel the changes around them. A plant kept in the shade will grow towards sunlight. Plants can also sense a change in weather. This is why some trees shed their leaves in autumn. The next characteristics, living things reproduce. Most plants produce seeds that grow into new plants. Dogs give birth to puppies, cows to cubs and so on. Human beings have babies too. Birds and some animals such as crocodiles, fish, lizard and turtles lay eggs. Their young ones hatch from eggs. So, living organisms produce more organisms like themselves. This is known as reproduction. Now, we discuss about the non-living things. They cannot move, they cannot grow, they do not breathe, they do not need food, they cannot feel and they do not reproduce. Non-living things such as cars and bricks cannot move on their own. Non-living things stay the same and do not grow. For example, a table or a phone will always stay the same. Now, you will notice that the honey bee differs from the mobile phone in many ways. This is because the honey bee is a living thing. The phone is a non-living thing. Non-living things such as toys, tables and bicycles do not breathe. They do not need food. Do you serve food to your computer? I think no. So non-living things do not feel. If you drop your pencil, it will not get hard. Non-living things do not reproduce. Can your pencil box produce a baby pencil box for you? I think no. So now we came to know that what is living thing and what is a non-living thing. So we already discussed the difference between living and non-living things, and we finished, more or less finished the chapter. But before I finish, I want to tell that there are some important words I select. Number 1, the definition of air holes. Tiny holes along the sides of the bodies of insects that help them to breathe, called air holes. Next definition is about stomata, pores in the leaves of plants through which they take in and give out air. Next, definition of sense organs. Ears, eyes, nose, tongue and skin are organs that enable us to sense the changes around us. And the last, about the reproduction, the process of producing more young ones of one's own kind is called reproduction. So you have finished the first chapter about living and non-living today. Thank you all. See you soon.